Hello everyone, welcome back to video number 2 in my first ever holiday card series. We're going to go traditional today and have a lot of fun making 2 cards at once, one A2 size, one slimline, because when you got the materials out, you might as well. And so I'm going to walk you through this process, starting with pulling out some things from my stash. Today I'm going to be using the Slimline Mod Trees from scrapbook.com, as well as the Christmas paper pads. So as of recording this video, the A2 size Christmas paper pad is a freebie over on the website, and scrapbook.com is giving away like 2 things a day. So they're being very generous this holiday season. So be sure to check in there. There might be one of your favorites that pops up. So I'm going to pull out my MISTI here and place down my first card panel here. This is going to be more of like a warm gray out of the Christmas paper pad. And then I am going to stamp my trees with some Catherine Pooler Spruce ink. So this is a brand new stamp, and you may have heard that new stamps sometimes have a residue and they don't stamp as crisp. I think that's what's going on here, so I had to stamp it a couple times because it's definitely not the Catherine Pooler ink. That is juicy. But there are tricks that you can do out there to condition your stamps if you don't just want to do it the old-fashioned way, which to me is just using ink and stamping away. You can use an eraser, and I think there's some other things. Now I'm going to go to my Christmas pads again, and I'm going to pull out the color that looks almost exactly like the spruce. So I'm going to get that from both card panels. Now it's interesting, the A2 one is a little bit darker, but they both match beautifully. And then I'm moving on to my mixed metals paper pads, and I'm going to pull out, this is probably my favorite glitter cardstock from the pack. It is this beautiful, almost a rose gold type. I'm going to cut down all my panels so that I can get some really fun layering action. This traditional one on the right is going to be layered just with a little bit of a 1/4 inch, getting smaller in size, and then the other one is a little bit different. Both are very similar cards with a little bit of a different flair. Then I'm going to pull out my my block die Christmas. I think that's what it's called. And what's fun about these dies, so you get all 3, but what's fun about these dies is you get the outline and the inner portion. So you have a twofer. And you all know me. I like the more from my stuff. I like the more. So I'm going to get a 2-for-1 here, and I'm going to be able to choose whether or not I want to use the outline or use the letters from inside. I'm sorry if I sound stuffy. I have no idea why. I'm not sick. I don't have allergies. I don't know. Maybe I'm in denial for both. No idea. Now I'm going to pull out my Christmas expressions. This is a stamp set chock full of holiday sentiments, and I love the font. It's one of my favorites. I have another stamp set for sentiments just like this with the font and all, but it's not for holidays. It's just like for regular other sentiments. Now, what I'm going to do here is called either a pro tip or a lazy tip. You be the judge. But I'm just going to put a little bit of tape runner on the back of this, and then I'm going to close my MISTI, and I'm going to pick it up, and I'm going to heat emboss. So I didn't want to take those sentiments off, and I know I'm going to use them because it's holiday season, and I'm going to be making a ton of cards. So I just decided to go with it. Of course, anti-static powder tool, and then I am going to stamp this. Now, I think my embossing ink pad was not juicy enough because I did not get as crisp an image. My powder's brand new, and so it must be the reason. Also, if you have the Wagner heat tool with both settings, the 2-setting one, the lower setting will not melt your embossing powder. I had that sucker on for a smooth 2 minutes warming up, but I didn't realize I had it on the low setting. And then I took it to my paper and it did nothing, like nada. And I'm like staring at it, like looking at it under a microscope. What's going on here? But it's because it was on the lower setting. Then I just clicked it right to the higher one, and boom, it melted everything. So you can watch me through this process. I'm basically just regular heat embossing. You put the ink, put the powder, then heat it up. Now, if you have noticed my nails, oh wait, here's my little ladybug. This is my vacuum cleaner. One of my favorite things in my craft stash. It's awesome. It picked up all that extra embossing powder. Okay, back to my nails. So I finally found gel nail polish that is worth using. I've been using, I know, I get what I pay for, but cheap gel nail polish on Amazon, and it chips the next day. And I'm like, how is this gel nail polish chipping? It's supposed to be like lasting for 2 weeks. Well, it's because it's cheap. So I went to Sally Hansen Beauty Supply, or Sally Beauty Supply, and I got me some quality gel nail polish, and it is in, like, it's called Selfish. That's the name of the gel nail polish, but it looks like ruby red slippers. I'm not kidding. It's like the prettiest and most Christmassy thing ever. Highly recommend. All right, back to the card. So I am going to start putting my cards together. Now, I wanted to use up some of the foam I had in my stash, so I'm just using some double-sided adhesive to just, adhere both sides. And this works just as good as foam tape. So if you have some, craft foam that you're trying to use up, this is one way to do it. Okay, I'm going to take this to my my card. I guess it's not my base, but it's the next layer in the panel. And I'm going to lay that down. And my video stopped recording when I was doing the twine there. I'm not going to blame AJ, but I blame AJ. He came in, he distracted me, and I forgot to hit record. But no worries, I just wrapped it around 3 times. I'm going to take the outside of my Mary here. I'm going to opt for the outline on this one because I wanted that to stand out. I felt like without it, it got a little lost. And so I am going to just use that. And plus, it's kind of cheater code for me to be able to place those in there perfectly straight. So I'm going to go through and just add my glue and then inlay my letters, which is very easy. And I did do something similar, although it's not as bold with the second card. And I'll show you that in just a second. So as I'm putting this together, I took one of the little words from that big set you saw me stamp and emboss, and just the word Christmas, and I'm just going to place that right there over it. I thought that was so cute. But I still felt like the card wasn't done. It needed a couple other things. So I'm going to take a little bit more of that twine, and I'm going to first place a glue dot down in the center, and then another glue dot where I made this little tiny bow. And I thought that that kind of brought the card together. But of course, I can't stop there. You know me, I have issues. And so I'm going to then decide that I want to add a little something to the trees. So I pulled out this Pops of Color by scrapbook.com in the Rudolph Red, and I am adding to the ornaments. Now, I'm using this as sort of my embellishment. You know how we do the embellishments of like 3 on the card? Well, I broke the rules and I did 4, but that's sort of how I was using it. And there is my first finished card. Yay! This one was so fun. Well, they both were. All right, so let's move into the second one, the slimline. First thing I did was I used that twine to look like ribbon on a present. And so I wrapped that around. And then I'm going to put my jolly down a little differently, but see how it gets kind of lost? So I am going to go back and fix that. But I had this Santa in my Christmas stash for like 3 years. So I said, it's time to use him or lose him. And so he definitely has to be used. He's too cute. And I colored him up all those many moons ago. So what I did for the jolly was I just went through and I outlined it with a black marker. I probably will go back and do that with a little bit more bold. And then I'm adding the word Santa. And that is going to finish up this card. Thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me for my second video in my first ever holiday card series. I'm having a lot of fun planning these videos. I will list everything I used in this video in the description box below, but don't forget, I'm sure you probably have a lot of holiday stuff in your stash. Use what you got or buy what you love. Either way, have a great time making your cards this holiday season because that's what it's all about. Thanks so much. I'll see you in the comments down below and in the next video. Bye-bye.